Hello, hello, hello. I am going to re-show you 5 moves or exercises that you can do for hip and shoulder mobility. Like I said in past videos, having proper joint mobility completely changes how your body moves, how your body functions, how your body feels, whether it's during exercise or outside of exercise. So I put a lot of emphasis on shoulder and hip mobility because those are your ball and socket joints, so they need greater range of motion. So whenever they are locked up, it essentially is affecting more things in your body, okay? So we'll get straight into these. These are simple, yet depending on your range of motion or your strength, they can be more challenging than you might realize. You know, a lot of people drastically underestimate how effective body weight exercise, body weight movements, and really focusing on those tiny aspects of how your body moves. You know, they underestimate how big of a deal that can become. So, we're going to start with, I call this a dynamic crab shoulder stretch, okay? So you can do this on your knuckles, or you can do this with your hands flat. It's whatever your wrist comfort might be, or whatever your current shoulder mobility might be. So just you want to push it to, you want to be uncomfortable, but you do not want to be feeling pain. Those are two different things. Discomfort is fine because you're pushing your limits, pushing that stretch, pushing that range of motion, so you're ultimately improving, okay? Pain can mean either there's something going on, something you're doing incorrectly, and you're just potentially setting yourself up for injury. So it should not be painful. It should be no farther than uncomfortable, okay? So I'm gonna have my hands flat because I like to stretch out my wrists, and it stretches this forearm as well. So this is also working your glutes, your hamstrings, okay, and your core. So you're gonna lift your hips up. You wanna try and get your torso parallel to the floor, and I can already feel a stretch in the front of my shoulder. And then if you are comfortable with it, you can just lean yourself forward. And if you wanna bring your hips down and do it that way, that's fine too. Whatever helps you feel a stretch somewhere. Okay, then I bring it back, and then I'll bring my hips down, kind of give my shoulders a break for a minute. I'll even bring my arms forward, kind of rotate on the opposite direction, then I'll go back up into it. So you bring it up, bring it forward as far as you want to, bring it back, bring it down. So if you are doing this as a warm-up, for example, you want to keep it a lot more dynamic. So you want to keep that pretty frequent movement. If you're doing it as you're working on really increasing that stretch and flexibility in your shoulder, and it's at the end of a workout, so everything is nice and warm, nice and loose, then you can hold that for a longer period of time in the stretch position because you're less likely to hurt something whenever it's already got heat and blood flowing through it. So actually the second one is similar to that. This is well, I like to do an alternating crab reach. So hands in the same position, or if you have wrist issues, you can go on your knuckles. This is a full body movement, okay? So if you have lack of strength in your core, in your hamstrings, in your glutes, in any of your upper body, your back, any of that, this is gonna feel challenging. But that's why I say don't underestimate the power of body weight, because you have to essentially, a lot of these moves, flex every muscle in your body to even do the move in the first place. So it's very compound, complex, multi-joint, multi-muscle group, okay? So I like to start my elbow right here. Actually, I'm gonna turn my hand out. It's just more comfortable on my wrist. You're gonna bring it up, and you can even twist. So now I'm getting a stretch behind my armpit, so my lat, down my ribs, my core, just depending, I feel it in my hips, the outside of my low back on this opposite side. So you can just move your body however. You can do this in a rep fashion, or you can do it as more of a isometric strength and hold the position up longer. It just depends on where you are with your overall head to toe mobility, or even more so your head to toe strength. Okay, so next one, we're going to go into a down dog. So now we're going to be stretching the back of the body. If you've ever done yoga, this is a super familiar position, but I like to, you can do this even on a day, like I've said a million times, on a day where I don't do an actual workout, an actual strength workout. These are the types of things that I might do to just get joints loosened up, get some blood flowing. I'm going to push it back. So I like to push my feet back. I like to have it to where my heels cannot touch because that pushes. So I'm feeling a stretch through my calf, through my hamstring. If you bend one knee and straighten the other, you can deepen it. You can do both and really push that chest back and push that shoulder mobility. Then you're just going to keep your hands and feet in that position, bring it forward into that Cobra. And you want to be able to relax your low back. I have my abs slightly flexed just to protect my low back. You don't want to feel pain, but I also like to rotate. I usually, this is the position, if I go down dog, Cobra a couple times, then once I get the blood flowing and my body realizes, hey, we're loosening up, then I will pretty much every time get my low back to adjust itself. Because that's the nice thing. Whenever you do mobility and flexibility frequently enough, you become your own chiropractor. So your body and your joints will very, very easily begin to adjust themselves because they're not all locked up. They have all that range of motion and flexibility to move like they should. Okay? So, same concept on this next one. It's called accordion. Okay? This is a full body move, and I will tell you, when I had 50 plus extra pounds on this frame and I had no core strength, I had virtually no upper body strength, and this was maybe a year ago at the most, okay? I almost fell on my face. I was shaking, and this move right here, I did 5 each direction, and it was all I could do to hold myself up. So again, when you don't have that strength or that coordination, body weight is tremendously effective because you're using every muscle group to do pretty much every movement. So it's highly, highly effective. Very, very effective for building muscle and stimulating your metabolism and ultimately burning fat. And you want to talk about cardio? I don't run. The most cardio that I do is whatever my body weight, full body movements, that will get your heart rate up. Or I power walk, that's it. And I've lost, as I said, 50 plus pounds, completely transformed everything, okay? So, it's effective, that's my point. So, accordion, you're gonna have your feet shoulder width apart in the down dog position. You wanna keep your feet and hands in the same spot. They are not gonna move. The only thing that will happen is you'll be on the balls of your feet and you will rotate your hips to where it's almost like you're gonna to sit down on the ground, but you don't sit down. You hover, get as close to the ground as possible, have your leg parallel to the ground, bring it back up, rotate it, go to the other side, and bring it back up, okay? So not only, like I said, that's a full body head to toe movement, but it's also gonna get that range of motion. It'll work your toes, work your ankles a little bit, work your hips, kind of loosen up that low back, but it's also gonna stimulate everything up head to toe. And also inverting yourself. You know, there's inversion tables, there's yoga swings. I've had or still have all of those things. Inverting yourself can do wonders for just relaxation, actually. Getting that blood flowing through your brain, it can lower your blood pressure. There's a whole long list of things that inverting your body for short periods of time can be highly, highly effective as well. So, last movement. This is a runner's lunge, twist, or twisting reach, whatever level you're capable of doing, all right? So, you're gonna bring it up to a plank position. Bring one foot up to the outside of your hands. You want your shin perpendicular to the floor. And then I'm going to, this is balance, coordination, strength, mobility, flexibility, all in one move. I'm going to bring my elbow across my knee. I want to stretch out the back of this shoulder, okay? I'm going to knuckle to knuckle it, and I'm going to push this bottom elbow into this bent knee. And so I'm stretching the back of my shoulder, stretching my low back, stretching my glute, my hip. Whoop. Hey, get the right, I'm having trouble today. I'm not warmed up. Okay, so you're here, and if you want to take it farther, bring this hand down and reach up and rotate as far as you're comfortable. You can hold this for as long as you want, but it is very, very effective. And then you can come out of it even, and you can bring it straight into a hamstring stretch. So once you build that mobility and that range of motion in multiple joint systems, then you're going to find that you can much more easily do everything, not only exercise, but outside of exercise as well. Everything gets easier. And you don't even need a massive amount of strength to do things, but if your body gets back to how it is supposed to move, as I've used before, the example of watching a baby or a toddler. Basically, a little baby that is learning how to walk. The way they get up, if you just watch them, the way they get up, and I know everything is really mobile and their bones are still soft and all of that, but that is how your body should be able to move. The way they squat down, you know, in this position. And yes, that gets harder whenever we get older, but that doesn't mean that you have to stop being able to do those particular things. You might do them differently, but watch a baby next chance you get whenever they fall down and they get back up. Just watch their movement. That is basic human movement, and we should all be capable of doing that. If you are at a healthy weight, if you have the proper strength, if you have the mobility, the flexibility, the coordination, the balance, all of those things add up to proper human movement. And there is no reason why every single one of us should not be capable of doing that unless we have some kind of injury or condition that prevents us. But the vast majority of people should be able to do these things and should be able to do these things easily. Okay, we've gotten away from that in general society because everything is convenient. There's a lot of sitting, we're lazy, whatever it may be. We're doing it to ourselves. So if you've done it to yourself in this first place, then you are the one that can reverse it. And you're the only one that can reverse it. People like me can give you all the tools in the world, but if you choose not to use them, then you are limiting your own life. And frankly, that's just crazy. So if you do have any questions, you have anything specific that you want to know about, please feel free, reach out, comment on this video, message me directly. Regardless, I am here. I'm not going anywhere. I will keep showing up and helping you learn how to live better.